Hello everyone and welcome back. This is going to be the fifth and final part of a devotion we've been covering all week called Purpose Beyond Our Baggage. Now, if you haven't watched the previous four parts, it may make more sense today if you go back and watch those first. But thank you for joining me again today. We've been examining the woman with the issue of blood found in Mark chapter 5. The final thing that I want to address today about this woman and her issue is that her issue pushed her to the point of desperation. She came to the conclusion that she was so desperate that she would take whatever means necessary, whatever actions she needed to do to resolve her issue, even if it meant going against the laws of her land. She pushed past shame. She pushed past man's protocol because remember, she should not have been out in that crowd. She was considered unclean because of her issue and not allowed to be around people. So she should not have even been there. But she pushed past man's protocol. She pushed past the belief that nothing would ever change. She was desperate, and her desperation drove her to the divine. Her desperation positioned her for deliverance. I implore you to look right now at your current issue. In your own spirit, grow tired of being defined by your issue. Get sick and tired of the thought of being disqualified and driven by your issue. Become desperate in your spirit today. Come to the place where everything within you is crying out, I need to touch Jesus. So desperate that you will push past a crowd of people to get to God. Now, forget man's protocol, forget man's rules, their laughter, the opinions of others, and run headlong into the divine today. Touch him and your current issue will be resolved. Touch him and your issue will no longer define, disqualify, drive, or devastate you. Are you willing to do whatever it takes? Are you desperate? If you read in Mark chapter 5, this account, you'll notice that Jesus did not just speak to her health issue. He also spoke to her mind and her spirit issue. Verse 34 says, Daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace and be free from your sickness. If you are desperate, you can leave whole and at peace. Romans chapter 12 and verse 2 says, Don't copy the behavior and customs of this world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. No change, listen to me closely, no change takes place in your life until your thoughts begin to change. Because your thoughts control your life. Every action begins as a thought. Because if you don't think it, you're not going to do it. Whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. If you don't think about it, you're not going to do it. Now, I have another devotion that's been put up a little bit ago that's all about thoughts. Thought Train or something along those lines. If you're interested, go back and watch that one. There's more detail. But Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 23 says, Be careful how you think. Your life is shaped by your thoughts. Because, like I said, every action begins with a thought. You know, we're always interested in our feelings. But you know what? Our feelings don't shape our lives. Our thoughts do. It doesn't even have to be true. If you believe it, it's going to shape your life. Maybe you've been told you're stupid. You're no good. You will never amount to anything. I don't even know why God put you on this planet. It's not true. But if you believe it, it will shape your life. Do I believe that healing can happen instantaneously in an altar, in a church? That you can get up and be free from addictions, free from negative thought life? Absolutely, because God is God. Okay? But does it always happen that way? No, it doesn't. Sometimes we have to get up and we have to say that no matter what comes my way, No matter who comes through my door, no matter what temptation crosses my mind or my path, I ain't going there. I will not go there because I'm doing something new. And eventually your something new will be your new habit. And that old way of living, that old way of thinking will be gone. And what does that have to do with our issues? Everything. Because we are defined by the way we think. We are defined by the way that we live. We are defined by our issues. But, what someone did to me in my past has nothing to do with who I am unless I allow it to be so. Simple math, but hard to do. One last thing I want to note today is this woman with the issue, she did not wait for Jesus to come to her. She went to him. She overcame her fear of rejection to get to him. She ignored her fear of ridicule, her fear of breaking the law to get to Jesus. So I want to ask you, are you willing to move? Are you willing to step out and possibly have to crawl to the Savior? How else do you think this woman touched the hem of Jesus's robe? Think about it. She was on her hands and knees, crawling through the middle of a crowd on a dirty street. She was desperate. And I want to end this today with just one question to you. And that is, how desperate are you? Thank you for joining me for this devotion. God bless.